Aaron.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Aaron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
You done messed up, Aaron!
Welcome, everyone. Aaron is here, and I am in Los Angeles now. I arrived this morning, made my way to the hotel. I'm still getting all situated. I hope the Wi-Fi is working okay. I think the audio is working okay. I only working from my laptop. Usually I've got several screens in front of me, but I think it's going to be, A-okay. Let's see. What I want to share with you is a video that I watched just this morning after I landed, while I was waiting for my bags to come on the carousel. Matt Pesh, Amy Scobie's husband, uploaded a video on Amy's channel, which I've got linked to in the description down below. And I have the video in the description down below as well. A 42-minute video sharing information that Matt has received from Sea Org members at the Flag Land Base in Clearwater, Scientology's giant organization in Clearwater. And Matt himself was one of the top executives at the Flag Land Base for a very long time. When I was a little Scientology trainee at Flag back in 1993, Matt was on that executive post. That's when I first met Matt. And you know, I want to comment on the fact that this is one of the benefits to having so many different former Scientologists, former staff members, former Sea Org members doing channels, doing videos, doing chats, putting up content, is that someone in Scientology is eventually going to see content from someone they personally know, like, trust, want to reach out to. You know, one of the things that Scientologists deal with when, you know, as I say, when they're inside the bubble, is this idea that people who are declared suppressive persons are like these really bad, evil people bent on like destruction of humanity, sort of via destruction of Scientology. And you know, when you're in the Scientology bubble and you're studying everything L. Ron Hubbard says about what a suppressive person is and why disconnection exists and all this kind of stuff, when you're reading it, it's somewhat easier to process when everything is framed as if like SPs are like the Hitlers and the Stalins of the world. It's not as easy to process when you're like, my friend Matt's not an SP. So anyhow, Matt discussed in a video a whole bunch of different examples of information that Sea Org members at the Flag Land Base are sharing with him. That's a 42-minute video. This isn't an attempt to summarize that video. There's like a several minute portion in like the last fifth of his video that I wanted to share with you guys, because it actually has to do with the FBI and the KGB and them setting their sights on infiltrating Scientology, and how this had been brought up in the past as a concern, and how Scientology's desperation for new Sea Org members has allowed them to somewhat, it seems, lower their guard in this aspect. Anyway, I don't want to give too long of an intro. I just want to share with you what Matt had to say about this. It's only a few minutes long, maybe 4 minutes long. I've got it on 1.25 speed to play a little bit faster. Let me know in the live chat, guys, if there's anything wrong with this audio, but here we go.
Oh, another thing I thought was interesting. When I was there, like in the 90s, we had a lot of recruitment was coming out of places like Russia. And it actually became something that you weren't allowed to do anymore, because what we were told, nothing official was kind of put out on it, but what we were told was that so many of these guys coming over from Russia had connections to the KGB, to organized crime. You know, they were kind of a rough crew. And so to handle that, it was made so that you couldn't recruit anybody from Russia. All right, so that went on for a pretty long time. So now I find out that a major recruit pool has been Russia again, and the Ukraine. Like, I'm told like there's hundreds of people from Russia and the Ukraine that have been recruited for Flag over the last few years. And I think, really? I mean, why did you change your stance on that? You know, are you that desperate for staff? And I guess that's probably the reason, because these guys, they come over, They think, okay, I'm going to the United States. That's fantastic. I'm going to, flag the top of Scientology. Everything's going to be great. But they come over, and what do they find out? They find out that they're going to work from morning to night doing some menial job, washing pots and pans, or vacuuming, or polishing brass, or cleaning glass, or all these kind of things. Gardening, and they're going to get very little pay. They're going to get little to no auditing, and they find out they've basically been lied to, and it's not good. These people get upset when that kind of stuff happens. I can tell you, because I've been there and dealt with these people before, and I remember, some of these people would say to me, "This is worse than Russia. This is worse than communism." And I'd be like, what? It wasn't totally real to me, but they say, yeah, especially some of the older people that really grew up with it and stuff. They'd say, yeah, this is worse, because I can't see my wife. I have no time. I can't see my family. I'm just, everybody's mean. I'm being really pushed hard to work all day long, doing, menial work. I have no freedoms. You can't go any place. You can't walk between buildings. You can't go down to the store. You got the beach just 3 miles away, but you'll probably never see the beach. And so they get pretty upset about the situation, and then they got to try to figure out how the heck to get out of there. And I can tell you have a lot of disaffection at the Flag Land Base. You've brought these people in from Taiwan, from the Ukraine, from Russia, from a lot of these countries where the things are pretty rough there, and they don't have very much money, and their families are struggling with war and different scenes over there. And you've told them that everything was going to be real good for them, and now they find themselves in situations where they feel used. And that's kind of some of the stuff that's blowing back on me, that come to me like, what the heck, they want straight answers on what's going on. And I don't know. I think also you got to worry about countries like Russia and the Ukraine and Germany and Italy. I mean, places where those governments do not like Scientology. France, they don't like Scientology. They'll tell you straight up, they don't like it. They know what Scientology has done in the United States, infiltrating the United States government. There's nobody's ever infiltrated the United States government like Scientology. Scientologists have been sent to prison for it. Mary Sue Hubbard was sent to prison for it. These other countries, they're not aware of that. They know that Scientology wants to basically take over the world. They want to take over governments. They do all kinds of crooked stuff. They do all kinds of illegal crap. They do all kinds of money manipulating stuff. I mean, Scientology is famous for that. And these governments are not unaware of that. And do you not think that they're going to not put people into Flag to find out and keep an eye on the place and find out what's going on? I mean, I'm sure I wasn't the only person the FBI ever asked to go undercover for them. You know what I'm saying? So if they ask me, how many people have they asked? How many people are at Flag right now that are actually working for the FBI or reporting back to the FBI? There's got to be many of them. And same thing with these other governments. There's got to be many of them. So I'm not telling you something you don't know. You might have ignored that, but I can tell you it's for real. And you guys got to be a little brain dead. I don't understand why you're bringing in hundreds of Ukrainians and Russians and all that. You're just asking for trouble. And I'm not telling you something you don't know, but it might be something that nobody wants to talk about or confront or tell little Davey Miscavige about, because of course nobody can tell this guy anything. He thinks everybody loves him. But here's the point. When he stands up there and he talks to the staff and the public, they have to clap and smile, because there are people that are facing the audience to look for anybody who's not smiling and who's not clapping. Just like North Korea, they will be picked out and interrogated and dealt with if they're not clapping as long as they should, as happy as they should, all this kind of stuff. And so Miscavige, he's sitting there. He literally has somebody backstage with a stopwatch. He wants to know how many seconds the applause went for. Literally. That's how crazy this stupid guy is.
That really is incredible. That really is incredible. People will ask me from time to time if I think the FBI or any police agency could successfully infiltrate the higher levels of the Sea organization. And my gut on that has always been, man, I don't think so. But that's just my own bias of knowing how sec checking is used, how the meter is used in metered ethics interviews, how the meter is used in security checks. And I don't mention the meter because, oh my God, you can't fool the meter. Anybody knows you can fool that meter. all Scientologists know you can fool that meter. There's just something about my own personal experience with the invasive and relentless nature of sec checks and metered ethics interviews that I've always felt, man, that would be damn near impossible. But, you know, that might just be what makes it possible, that people don't think it's possible. You know, it's funny, even people who are born and raised in Scientology, who couldn't possibly be plants from the CIA or the FBI, will, I shit you not, at various times and in various instances, be interrogated as to whether they are, in fact, plants sent into Scientology by the intelligence community to upset and destroy the place. I mean, I did an interview with Sterling Tompkins last week, born and raised in Scientology, worked at Scientology's international base, where he told that exact story. And, you know, was put in a position where he sort of had to come up with an answer to the question, and his answer wouldn't be accepted. And he had no answer to the question. And it was a very traumatizing experience for him. And so the fact that Scientology, I think it's one of the reasons I've said I didn't think it would be possible, because they're so intensely paranoid about stuff like that, even with members who couldn't possibly be in that category, that if someone was sent in who was an actual agent, I was just like, man, I don't know if they could like succeed with that long con. Like, it would have to be a long con. You'd have to be willing to be in there for years. Most Sea Org members won't even be sent to Flag unless they've got a production record of about 2 years. But because they're so desperate for new members, as illustrated by their reliance on recruiting from Russia and Ukraine, whereas before I didn't even know until I heard that story from Matt, that Flag had previously put the kibosh on that practice because of the connections and possible connections to the KGB and organized crime. So clearly they reversed themselves on that decision. I believe that is because they're desperate. And I now actually, after considering this for a bit longer, think that if an agent was willing to put in a few years, and really learn the language and learn the customs and learn the culture and learn the policies, they could really talk the talk and walk the walk. Man, I think they could pull it off. And if they could pull it off, who's to say they aren't pulling it off? So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, a little bit of food for thought. And guys, let me mention, because I'm going to be doing, you know, several videos over the next couple of days. Any of you who do super chats specifically to help, to help with travel expenses, please save your money on the super chats. YouTube takes 30% of the super chats. If you really want to help with travel expenses, and honestly, guys, I can afford the ticket, I can afford the hotel. I don't need the help, but I know that a lot of you guys want to give the help anyway. So if that's your goal, I have put my PayPal and my Venmo in the description down below. Don't do it with super chats. It's a horribly efficient use of your hard-earned dollars. All right, everyone, that is all I have on this. I got to go over to the courthouse, get my press badge, got some other errands to run, and maybe I'll do something else later this evening. Thanks for hanging in there with me on this one, you guys. And as always, thanks to everybody who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe.